She doesn't need to confess. She doesn't need to get caught. Because her behavior will scream the truth louder than any lie she tells. If you're a man who has ever felt something was off but couldn't put your finger on it, this is your wake-up call. Cheating isn't just a physical act, it's a psychological unraveling. And when a woman cheats, she leaves behind undeniable signs. Not one, not two, but three. And if you miss them, you're not just blind TQ choosing to be. This isn't about paranoia. It is about power. It is about reclaiming your emotional intelligence and seeing what has been hidden in plain sight. Her emotional detachment becomes surgical, cold, calculated, and sudden when a woman cheats. The first thing that changes isn't her body, as her emotional presence. She doesn't just drift away. She disconnects with precision, like a surgeon cutting ties with no anesthesia. One day she's laughing at your jokes. The next she is staring through you like you're invisible. And you feel it. You feel the silence, the absence, the void. But you tell yourself she is just tired, stressed, busy. You rationalize what your gut already knows. Psychologists call this emotional distancing, trace of fun mechanism rooted in cognitive dissonance. When someone violates their own moral code, they create distance to avoid confronting the guilt. But here's the twist. The guilt doesn't make her remorseful. It makes her resentful. Because every time she sees you, she is reminded of the lie she is living. And instead of owning it, she punishes you for it. This isn't just emotional coldness. It is strategic detachment. Studies in behavioral psychology show that when someone is emotionally invested elsewhere, their brain rewires its reward system. The dopamine hits, excitement, the anticipation, are no longer tied to you. They're tied to someone else. And that shift is visible. She stops asking about your day, stops noticing your moods, stops caring about your wins or your wounds. You become background noise in a life she has already started rewriting, and here is the most brutal part. She broke-tacked like it is your fault, like you're the one who changed, like you're the reason she is distant. That is the manipulation, that is the gaslighting. Because if she can make you question your own reality, she never has to face hers. But don't to be fooled. Emotional detachment isn't esoteric, it is seismic. It shakes the foundation of your connection. And if you're paying attention, you'll see the cracks. You'll see the chill. You'll hear the silence that used to be filled with love. This is your moment to wake up. To stop begging for breadcrumbs of affection from someone who is already feeding someone else. Emotional detachment is the first sign, and it is the loudest. Don't ignore it. Don't excuse it. Don't wait for proof. Because by the time you get it, the damage is already done. You deserve presence. You deserve truth. You deserve someone whose heart beats for you, not someone who has mastered the art of pretending. She starts rewriting the narrative of your relationship, painting herself as the victim. When a woman cheats, she doesn't just hide the act. She rewrites the story. Slowly, subtly, she begins to shift the emotional landscape of your relationship. Suddenly, the love you built together becomes a prison in her mind. The laughter becomes noise. The memories become burdens. And you? You become the villain in a story you never agreed to star in. It isn't a random. It is psychological self-preservation. According to research in moral disengagement theory, people who violate their own ethical standards often reconstruct reality to justify their actions. She needs to cheat and still feel like a good person. So she creates a version of events where you're inattentive, emotionally unavailable, maybe even controlling. Whether it is true or not doesn't matter. What matters is that it gives her permission to betray you. She'll start saying things like, "You never really understood me," or "I felt alone for a long time." These aren't just complaints. Teeks rehearsed lines in a script she is writing to absolve herself. And if you challenge her, she'll tell the bull down. Because the more you resist, the more she feels validated in her new role as the misunderstood, neglected woman. This rewriting isn't just verbal. Twilla's behavioral. She'll stop celebrating your efforts. Stop acknowledging your growth. She will act like everything good you do is too little, too late. And if you try harder, she'll pull away further. Because the truth is, she is not trying to fix the relationship. She is trying to escape it, and here's the kicker. She'll start telling others. Friends, family, maybe even strangers. She'll plant seeds of doubt about you in the minds of people around her. Not because she wants support, but because she wants a safety net. If the affair comes to light, she wants to be seen as the woman who was driven to it, not the woman who chose it. This is emotional warfare. It is not just betrayal, twit as character assassination. And if you're not careful, you, TVT, start believing her version of the story. You, TVT, start apologizing for things you didn't do. Your TVL starts shrinking to fit the mold of the man she says you are. But here's the truth. Her narrative isn't reality. It is a mask, a shield, a way to cheat without guilt. And the moment you recognize it, you reclaim your power. You stop playing the villain in her fantasy and start writing your own truth. You are not the cause of her betrayal. You are not the excuse. You are the one who deserves honesty, loyalty, and love that doesn't need a justification. So when she starts rewriting the story, don't reread it. Burn it and write your own.
Her phone becomes a fortress, guarded, encrypted, and off limits. Before the truth ever slips from her lips, it hides behind a screen. Her phone, the device that once lay casually on the table, unlocked and unbothered, now becomes sacred ground. You notice it. The shift is unmistakable. She starts clutching it like a lifeline, sleeping with it under her pillow, taking it into the bathroom, guarding it like it holds state secrets. And, in a way, it does. This isn't just about privacy. It's about concealment. Behavioral scientists have long studied the link between secrecy and deception, and the evidence is clear. When someone is hiding something emotionally significant, their digital behavior changes first. Notifications get silenced. Messages get deleted. Apps get hidden. And suddenly, the person you thought you knew becomes a ghost in her own digital world. She'll say things like, "I just value my privacy," or "Why do you need to check my phone?" But these aren't boundaries, they're barricades. Because the woman who has nothing to hide doesn't need to defend her phone like it's a courtroom exhibit. She doesn't flinch when you pick it up. She doesn't panic when it buzzes. She doesn't change her passwords without telling you. And here's what's even more telling. Her phone habits become inconsistent. She's online at odd hours. She's texting with a smile she doesn't explain. She's suddenly busy when you call, but instantly responsive to someone else. These aren't coincidences. They're patterns. And patterns don't lie. Technology has become the modern diary. It holds her secrets, her desires, her betrayals. And when she's cheating, her phone becomes the vault. You'll feel the tension every time you ask a simple question. You'll see the hesitation when you walk into the room. You'll hear the silence when she's typing furiously, then suddenly stops. This is not paranoia. It's perception. And if you ignore it, you're choosing blindness over truth. Because the phone doesn't just hold evidence, it holds intention. It reveals where her attention goes, where her heart wanders, and who she's really investing in. But here's the truth that stings. If you have to ask to see her phone, the trust is already broken. If you feel the need to investigate, the intimacy is already gone. And if she reacts with anger, deflection, or guilt-tripping, you're not dealing with a partner. You're dealing with someone who's protecting a lie. You deserve transparency. You deserve peace. You deserve a love that doesn't live in the shadows of a locked screen. So when her phone becomes a fortress, don't just knock, walk away. Because the truth you're looking for isn't behind a password. It's in the way she treats you when she thinks you're not watching.